these kids are going to be lost. We're going to lose a generation just to testing. And that's bad, and we can't do that. And unfortunately, that's how many teachers in my district.
And I teach in a second and third grade school, and just to kind of piggyback on your idea, we have second and third grade students stressing out on testing. We do beginning of the year testing, middle of the year, we have these data team meetings. Teachers come in, they scale the data, and make sure these kids are on track and on progress. I'm afraid for this next generation of kids because they're not valued unless they do well on a test. Oh my God, a piece of paper that has a number on it.
That's right.
And we have teachers stressing out, I've got to get in to test my kids, and I've got 3 kids that I have to do special interventions on, and I've also and I'm all by myself in the classroom doing all this. And I feel like I'm in a 5-ring circus, not a 3-ring. I've got this one going, this one going, this one going. And of course I've got 2 or 3 children and actually need some mental health intervention and our building isn't, set up for that. And then we have those crises happening. I'm in Wilbraham and this is happening too. It's happening across the state. This is not something atypical. I'm fearful of these kids, and it's the second and third graders having mental breakdowns because they have to take another test. And I can't, it's killing us, and we have no way around it. We have DDMs, district determined measures, that we have to make sure that every kid in my class, and I teach science, technology, engineering, and math. I've got second and third grade students building balloon cards, and we're making windmills, and we have a lot of fun. But I'm also under that. And I know what I'm doing, and every other teacher in that building is building the educational background for those kids to be successful. But I also have this over my head, like, where are they going? What testing do I have to do? And I cry every night at those poor children stressing out on testing. You gentlemen, whoever gets in, needs to give Desi a nice good call and tell her to knock it off.
That's it.
And to this group of people and the individuals they represent as well are the best teachers in the country. Massachusetts has the best teachers in the country, K through 16. And I don't believe we need to have like an educational colonoscopy every day. Seriously.
Pat Sullivan retired Springfield Public School System, Springfield Central High School. I would, go along with everything that's been said so far. Mr. Allen, when you brought up, and I don't mean to pick on you, I'm just trying to build my case here, but when you brought up efficacy and Step Up Springfield, I began to think of like all the acronyms and the things that we've had, probably all very well-intentioned, well-meaning, so forth and so on. The latest thing we have now, with the park and the this, and you got to have computers and you got to so forth and so on. What we really need in this state probably is educational reform 2014. We had an educational reform in 1992 when we set up the whole MCAS system and so forth and so on. And we want our children to be proficient, we want them to read, we want them to write. But over the years, as I saw, just in my case, I was a social studies teacher. And because there was so much emphasis on English and math, those classes tended to be smaller. And then my class had to be 35 to 40, with the difficulties that you suggested, your alternative suggested, et cetera, et cetera. So I see some of our other subjects as a result of testing kicked to the curb, whether it's foreign language, okay? Whether it's social studies, you may not have known that this was happening, but we really need educational reform, 2014. Go back. What is the purpose of education? Education, to lead, not to test. That was never what it was set up for. And I understand that all these companies, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's whoever that has to sell their product, since we no longer have manufacturing in this nation for those good jobs, what's the biggest pool of money we have in this country? It's educational money. And everybody is feeding off of it except the right people. And our kids, as this lady said, in 2nd grade, if you're going to have a nervous breakdown, that we are definitely on the wrong track. Okay? The other thing I would say about higher education too, and because this gentleman brought up about the tuition and the money and the debt, etc. Why did we for years say to these kids, and I was a high school teacher, why did we say you all needed to go to college? No, you would be the best carpenter. You would be the best electrician. You need to go, like my nephews went to HVAC. You need to go to a technical school. Why aren't we honest, or why weren't we honest with all of these kids? We set them up for all this debt for whoever was going to, and I better stop now.
I really don't. My name is Margaret. I'm a Springfield president. I also went to college, of course, that's why I have to leave. But when he talks about college and debt, I was fortunate that I was able to work on a college campus and pay for school as I went along. Of course, I didn't eat very much, of course, because you're so busy trying to pay off the debt before you go. That didn't happen to all my other friends that went to school. However, then that made me think of graduating from college and getting my degree and also getting my license that I was told was for life. Well, as we know, as educators, that didn't happen. And I thought when I filled out this application to apply for my new license, did I get arrested for murdering somebody? No. Did I get arrested for selling drugs? No. Do I owe IRS $50 million? No, I don't make that much. So my concern was there. Why do I have to have my license pulled from me because they have a new thing? So every 5 years I have to pay them money. I still have not done anything wrong. I haven't been arrested for pornography or anything like that. I still have not been arrested for anything. As far as I know, my record is still good, except probably not with IRS. But my concern is there. My concern is there. Why do we have to do this again every 5 years? So you're doing this to us, and then I'm thinking, again, I'm going to go to another step. As an educator in the kindergarten classroom, I this year have 8 students have never been to school before. There's a problem with that. Early childhood education needs to be looked at again. If you're going to demand that these children in 2nd grade have to take part or the MCAS, then we need to do something way before that. Way before that. Not only do we have to find parents jobs, we have to find some place for their children to go to for them to be educated or to be with someone during that time period that they're at work. If you're talking about raising the minimum wage, don't forget we have paraprofessionals who are just making $14,000 a year. So what about that? So everything else has to go. So I'm telling you a lot of stuff, so I hope you're listening. I'm sorry that I feel like I'm in class, but I feel like I need to tell you something that you probably don't even know, or just a snippet of what's happening to us. We have these other girls, being in kindergarten, we had a grant. Oh, you get this grant, you get so much money. And I know there's other kindergarten teachers who agree with me. Well, with that, there's certain criteria that you must do in order for you to get this money. Well, if that's the case, then give me the money, and I'll tell you really what it's going to do, how it's going to help. We have Pearson giving all these tests. Well, you're spending all this money giving it to Pearson. We need to put that back into the classroom. We need to have better classrooms. We need to have windows that really open. We need to have screens out so the bugs don't come in. We need to have air conditioning in every school, not just in some school, but every school should have air conditioning system. We do live in New England. It does get cold. It does get hot. So we need to think about all that, all those things. Buildings need to be properly serviced. All those things have to happen. I can go on and on and on. We can spend some more time with that. Howard, don't forget about us. That's my biggest concern. Don't forget about us. Just because you're running now, don't forget. Once you get in your space, continue to be problems more and more. Just don't forget about us.
Yeah, I encourage you to go to the SEA website and click on the Springfield Teacher. I've been talking about all of these issues for years. But a couple of things I want to bring to light here. We're being measured by a crooked yardstick. MCAS is a criteria reference test, a fixed target. It does not measure the individual student's growth towards the target. And obviously, our families and neighborhoods, too many of them under duress, our kids are coming in developmentally delayed. Some of them make tremendous progress. Their schools don't get credit for that progress. Perfect example. Massachusetts students, #1 in the nation, in the top 5 internationally, with our accountability system. Also, we are #1 in declared failing schools. We got to take a serious look at our accountability system. You know what? Part of it has been fashioned by the detractors of public education, who are out there in the community saying public education is the civil rights issue of our time. And they're right, but they're on the wrong side of the issue. The fact of the matter is, you look at our level 4 elementary schools that got school improvement grants, they made tremendous progress. One of them went from level 4 to level 1. And what's the reward for that? They're taking the grants away. Talk about best practices. If you give these teachers the resources they need to reach difficult kids to reach, they'll do it. You know, and our biggest problem is education reform has always had the people working in the school buildings as the object of the reform. It won't be until you sit us at the table and listen to us. One of the biggest problems here is it's not tested, it's not valued. We are completely ignoring social, emotional, behavioral, and spiritual growth of children. What grows character? What makes good neighbors, good parents, good friends? All of those things. Perfect example. When I started 42 years ago, we had 3 music teachers, 3 shop teachers, 3 home and career teachers, 2 art teachers. That school today has 1 art teacher. That's it. We send our kids out in recess in the elementary schools and we say, you gotta have a lesson plan for recess. Where's the time? This is no joke. This is no joke. You wonder why kids are stressed out. Look, people learn in different styles. And the social stuff, you gotta give kids a chance. Art and music are pathways to math and science, but all of those home and careers, shop, those are chances for kids to shine during the day, to feel good about themselves, to connect with an adult that says to them, because of the way they treat them and because of their success with them, you're a valuable person. And if you put the effort in, you can be something. I've been teaching in this same community for 42 years. It's been a blessing, because I run into kids, and I taught my whole career, middle school, junior high school. You run into them now when they're 30 and 40 and 50. Sometimes you don't recognize them. Sometimes you look those kids in the eye and you know exactly who they are. Because all you did was bang your head against the wall and absolutely nothing went through. And if there was MCAS back then, I'd have been a failure. And those very kids hugged me and thanked me for what I did, which wasn't about teaching them math. It was about teaching them character and how to be a good human being and to believe in themselves. And later on down the road, they became successful in life. We're losing track of the most important part of public education. That's social, emotional, behavioral, and spiritual growth, the sense of citizenship. You can be the smartest person in the world. Without those things, you could be an Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, you're right.
So, you know, let's get back to what public education should be, and Don't listen to these detractors of public education who want to use these numbers to say the schools are failing and the problem is the people working in the schools. No, the problem is the people dictating to the schools don't listen to the people working in the schools.
Here, here.
Kind of going off some of the comments that others were stating already. A lot of these initiatives that all have their acronyms, be it park testing or looking at things like retels that were spoken of, seeds. All these programs as they come through on a state level, regardless of debating, it's important to debate the merits of them too, but also from a public policy and what legislators will wind up doing. Whenever these issues are implemented statewide, any educator can tell you generation to generation, you don't have enough in the line of funding for these programs, you don't have enough in the line of training for these programs, nor do you ever have anything in the line of a realistic timeline to implement these programs. And when you're looking at schools that are statistically among the best in the country and the world, as people were telling you, and the only reason we're not necessarily #1 in the world in multiple categories, people have to comprehend that at a lot of these schools in places like Germany, they only attend an academic high school if they have the 3.5 already. Okay, so you're looking at the best schools on the planet right here. So if legislators could back and mimic the voice, parrot the voice, if you will, of educators talking about what we're doing right versus, allegedly what we're doing wrong would be a good step too. Thank you.
I'm going to give you an easy one. I think most legislators are not aware that kindergarten is not mandated by age 5. Brian Ash has instituted a bill. It's on his website. I don't remember the number of it. But get the children to us earlier. That will help. So whoever goes to Boston, please support Brian Ash's bill to make kindergarten mandatory. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to remind us of one very important thing. We've been talking about all the different levels, and one thing we have to mention, and thank God we have the internet. Go and check the internet. America is not among the best 15 school systems in the world. If you don't believe me, check the internet when you go home. Now my concern is why? This is the richest country in the world. Why can't we have the best on top? It's not an opinion. Google it. Thank you.
Just kind of like looking at the big picture, I feel like every day when I go in, poverty is one of the biggest things that I battle. And what I'm hoping for is an increase in the minimum wage so that families can kind of step out of poverty as much as they can. Progressive tax reform to help with the funding of public education, and working to regain faith in public education and to stop selling out to private companies and the idea that a charter school is going to fix everything. Because just to go with what Tim said, I do think that the fight for public education is the civil rights issue of our time.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds and then we'll go back. I'm a math teacher, so I like statistics. Let me give you two numbers. 25, that's the number of days that we spent testing this year. If you take into account all the other stuff that goes along with it, I lost 21% of my school year for students that can't afford to lose a day.
Accountability, Mr. Harrington. You brought up top-down versus bottom-up. And I will say to all of you that I work in a top-down situation where I am told every day about accountability. I am told about your seeds binder. I am told about all the stuff you have to upload, but I would like to talk about what happens above me when it comes to acuity. I gave out my midterm exams to my 11th grade history class, and everybody that gave out 11th grade tests were told, your test grades were terrible. And then we found out that the machine used the 10th grade answer key. Now, did the person that ran that through, did they get a letter in their file? Does anything happen to them? Last year, my school was being renovated. Central High School was being renovated, consistently renovated. We were told you can't have summer school at Central High School. They're redoing all the pipes. you can't have kids in